I was 7 months pregnant, counting down the days to my baby shower. My dream dress was picked, the guest list was ready, and my sister was helping me plan every detail. She even hand-painted the little favors and told me the name I picked for my daughter gave her chills. My husband kept rubbing my belly like it was the most precious thing in the world. We were nesting, preparing, celebrating. Everyone said I was glowing, and I believed them. I didn't see the shift right away. The long glances, the private jokes, the way her phone screen always faced down. I thought it was hormones. I blamed myself. But nothing could prepare me for what I saw that night. Everything felt perfect until that night at dinner, when I looked across the table and caught my husband holding hands with my younger sister under the table. And that was just the beginning. If you've ever trusted the wrong people or found out the truth in the most unexpected way, you're not alone. Please like, drop a comment, and subscribe for more stories that stay with you long after they end. Now, let me take you back to how it all began. If you'd asked me 2 months ago how my life was going, I would have told you it was nearly perfect. A stable marriage, a baby on the way, a supportive sister by my side, and a home filled with laughter and warm lights. I was glowing, not just from the pregnancy, but from the joy of building a life I'd always dreamed of. My name is Amara. I'm 32 years old, and I was 7 months pregnant when I realized I didn't know the two people closest to me at all. It started small, the kind of details you shrug off because you're too busy being happy. Jordan, my husband of 5 years, was loving and attentive. He made me smoothies every morning, kissed my forehead before leaving for work, rubbed my swollen feet after long days. And then there was my sister, Talia, 28, wild at heart, and recently going through a breakup with a man she should have never dated in the first place. She moved in with us 3 months ago, just for a few weeks, she said, until I figure things out. We made it fun, like when we were teenagers, sharing a room, fighting over clothes, and staying up late watching movies. Only now the stakes were real. I was carrying a child, my child, Jordan's child, and she was living with us, again. I trusted her, I really did. She was my little sister. She offered to help with the baby shower, took over the guest list, designed the invites, sourced the best vanilla cupcakes from some underground bakery she found on TikTok. Jordan called her a lifesaver. So did I. The baby shower was 2 weeks away, and my heart swelled every time I thought about it. We were going with soft neutrals, creams, beige, dried florals, a backyard setup, cozy, classy. All my closest friends would be there. But before that, there was dinner. It was a Friday night. I remember because Jordan usually worked late on Fridays, but this time he said he was coming home early, said he missed me, said he wanted to spend time as a family. Talia offered to cook. A surprise. Pasta, garlic bread, wine for them, sparkling water for me, candles lit, jazz playing low in the background. She even set the table for three, cloth napkins folded neatly, place cards handwritten in gold ink. Jordan came home, loosened his tie, kissed my cheek, complimented the food, and laughed with Talia like they shared a private joke. I watched them from across the table. Their energy was comfortable, maybe too comfortable. I didn't want to be the jealous type. I'd never been. But something about the way he looked at her when she handed him the wine glass, too soft, too familiar, made my stomach tighten, and not from the baby. They laughed at a story I wasn't part of. And then I dropped my fork. It was innocent, an accident. I leaned down to pick it up. That's when I saw it. Their hands under the table, his fingers wrapped around hers. Not just brushing, holding, firm, intimate, paused. They didn't flinch. They didn't know I saw. I froze. My fingers gripped the fork. My throat tightened, but I said nothing. I sat back up, smiled. My face burned, but I kept it together. I looked at my plate and ate. I felt my baby kick, and all I could think was, why are you doing this to us? That night I didn't sleep. I lay awake next to Jordan, who snored softly, peacefully, like nothing had happened. My mind raced. Was I hormonal? Did I imagine it? Maybe it was just a casual touch. Maybe she dropped something. Maybe I'm crazy. But no, it was real. I saw it. And once you see something like that, you can't unsee it. The next morning, I woke up early. Talia was already in the kitchen, barefoot, sipping coffee, scrolling on her phone. "Sleep okay?" she asked casually. I smiled. "Yeah, you?" She shrugged. "Got cold around midnight." I nodded. Then I noticed she was wearing Jordan's hoodie, the navy one, his favorite, the one I usually wore when I wanted to feel close to him. I didn't say anything, but I noticed. The rest of the weekend passed like a slow-motion movie. Talia offered to run errands for the shower. Jordan went with her, together, for 3 hours. Came back with pastries and scented candles, laughing like they were teenagers. I smiled. Inside, I was unraveling. Sunday night, I sat in the bathroom with the door locked, my journal open on my lap. I hadn't written in weeks. I'd been too happy. Now I couldn't stop my hand from shaking. Sunday, 7:23 p.m. I think my husband is cheating on me. With my sister. That night, I watched him sleep again. His face so calm, his arms stretched out across the bed. I stared at the man I thought I knew, the man I promised to love in sickness and health, through stretch marks and cravings and baby names. He kissed my stomach that morning, told me I was beautiful, and maybe he meant it, but I saw him hold her hand. On Monday, I called my best friend Lila. "I need you to be honest," I said. "Always," she replied. I told her everything, every detail, every fork drop, every laugh, every hoodie. Silence on the other end. Then, "Amara, you need to watch them." "What if I'm wrong?" "Then you're wrong. But what if you're not?" I nodded even though she couldn't see me. "What do I do?" "You observe. You don't confront. Not yet. You let them feel safe. Let them keep going." It felt cold, but she was right. That evening, I texted Talia. "Thanks again for helping with the baby shower. I couldn't do this without you." She replied instantly, "Of course you know I love you." My heart sank. I stared at the screen for a long time. The days blurred. I started watching more closely. I noticed how Jordan touched her shoulder in the hallway, how Talia wore makeup only when he was home, how she laughed a little louder at his jokes, and how he never kissed me unless I kissed him first. I wasn't imagining it. I was living it. The betrayal was slow, not like a knife, but like water, creeping in under the door, soft, unnoticed, until the whole room is drowning. By Friday, I was on edge. The baby kicked constantly. Maybe she felt it too. The tension, the heaviness. That night, we had dinner again. Just the three of us. Talia sat across from me. Jordan sat beside me. She complimented my earrings. He passed her the salt. Their hands didn't touch. Not that I saw, but their eyes did. A flicker, a softness, a secret. And that was all I needed to know. When I went to bed, I tucked the pregnancy journal under my pillow. Not for comfort, for evidence. You'd be surprised how easy it is to question your own reality when someone you love tells you that you're imagining things. Even easier when it's two people, the two you trusted most. That week after the dinner table moment felt like living in a funhouse mirror. Everything looked familiar, but slightly warped. Like I was walking through my own life, unsure which part of it was real anymore. But I had a plan now. Observe. Don't react. Don't accuse. Just watch. It was the advice Lila gave me, and even though it went against every fiber in my emotional, hormonal third trimester body, I followed it. Because one thing had become painfully clear. If I asked them the truth, they'd lie. The next morning, Jordan woke up early to make breakfast. He brought me scrambled eggs, toast, and a glass of freshly squeezed orange juice with crushed ice, exactly the way I liked it. "I thought you could use a little pampering," he said, kissing my forehead. I smiled. It was so perfect, it almost made me sick. I wondered if he'd washed the hand he used to hold my sisters under the table. Talia didn't come down until an hour later. She was wearing an oversized t-shirt and leggings, her hair in a messy bun. She looked like she hadn't slept much. Or maybe she had. Maybe they both had. I didn't say much, just watched her carefully. She barely made eye contact. That was new. Later that afternoon, I brought up the baby shower casually. I was thinking we go with white and beige for the color theme, I said. Something soft, clean. Talia nodded. Yeah, I love that. Maybe with pampas grass? Exactly what I was thinking, I said. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Then Jordan walked in, wiping his hands on a kitchen towel. You ladies talking about the big day? Of course, Talia said quickly. We're about to be aunties and uncles. Jordan chuckled. I still can't believe it's almost here. He wrapped his arm around me and kissed my cheek. It was all so normal, so choreographed. That night I checked his phone while he was in the shower. Yes, I crossed a line. No, I didn't care. But there was nothing. No suspicious texts, no secret apps, no late-night messages from Talia. Only a few messages about errands, baby shower tasks, and family logistics. All clean. Too clean. I checked her phone the next day when she was in the shower too. Same story. It didn't make me feel better. It made me feel insane. I started noticing things that felt small, but when stacked together, built a mountain of doubt. Jordan started staying up later. Said he was catching up on work. Sometimes in the living room, other times in his car, parked in the driveway. Talia's room would be dark, but her door slightly cracked. When I passed by, I never heard music or TV, just silence. Until one night, I heard laughter. Two voices, muffled. I stopped breathing. I moved quietly through the hallway, holding my belly like I was protecting both of us from the truth. The voices faded. By the time I got there, the living room was empty. Talia's door was closed. Jordan was already in bed when I returned, pretending to sleep. I lay there all night, wondering if I was losing my mind. A few days later, I told Lila everything over voice note. She messaged back almost immediately. If you feel it in your gut, it's real. Women always know. Don't ignore it just because you don't have the smoking gun yet. She was right, but knowing something and proving it? Two different things. And I wasn't ready to destroy my life over a feeling. Not yet, so I played along. Babe, you've been really quiet this week, Jordan said one night as we brushed our teeth. I'm just tired, I replied. You know how it is. He leaned over and kissed my cheek. You know I love you, right? I nodded. Of course. But inside a voice whispered, so why do I feel like I'm sleeping next to a stranger? A few mornings later, Talia looked pale. She sat down at the breakfast table, barely touching her toast. Are you okay? I asked. She hesitated. Yeah, just a bit nauseous. I didn't say anything. I watched her. She went upstairs right after and didn't come back down for hours. Later that night, I found an empty ginger tea packet in the trash and a half-eaten pack of saltines in her room. Something clicked, and it terrified me. That evening, I went into the guest bathroom she used and opened the small bin under the sink. At the very bottom, under tissues and wrappers, I saw it, a pregnancy test box. I pulled it out slowly. My hands shook as I turned it over. It was still there. One of the sticks. Positive. 2 lines. My heart dropped to my knees. My legs barely held me up as I locked the bathroom door and sat on the floor. Pregnant? No. No, it couldn't be. It had to be old. A mistake. Someone else's. Something. But the box wasn't dusty. The stick wasn't dry. This was new. And unless Talia had a secret boyfriend, she was hiding in her closet. There was only one man it could be. My stomach turned. I didn't confront her right away. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw the box at her and demand answers. But I didn't. I was too stunned, too afraid that once I opened that door, there'd be no going back. So I waited until the next day. Talia was in the kitchen spreading peanut butter on toast. Her back was to me. I placed the test on the counter gently. She turned around and froze. She stared at it for a moment, then slowly lifted her eyes to meet mine. I found this in your bathroom, I said. Silence. Then, it's not what you think. What do I think? She licked her lips. It's complicated. I waited. She didn't speak. Who's the father? I asked. She looked away. I don't know. Try, I said softly. Just try. Her voice cracked. I'm not ready to talk about it. And just like that, she walked out of the kitchen, leaving the test and my heart on the counter. Later that night, I told Jordan about it. I wanted to see his reaction. Talia's pregnant, I said, watching him closely. His fork paused midair. What? I found the test. She said she doesn't know who the father is. He blinked. Wow, I didn't even know she was seeing anyone. I nodded. He went back to eating, too quickly. No questions, no concern, no real surprise. That was the moment I knew. I started tracking everything after that. Times they were alone, glances exchanged, even the way their conversation paused the moment I entered the room. I became a shadow in my own home, watching, documenting, smiling while my world cracked quietly beneath my feet. One night I saw something that confirmed everything. Talia was in the backyard sitting on the swing. Jordan stepped out to join her. They didn't see me. I was behind the curtain holding my breath. They spoke in whispers. Then he reached for her hand. Not like before. This time he held it tight. Their heads leaned together. She was crying. He wiped her cheek. And I swear to God, I saw him kiss her forehead. I went numb. I didn't cry. I didn't rage. I just watched. I watched the man who held me every night hold someone else, my sister, the same way. And in that moment, I realized something. This was never going to stop, not unless I stopped it. That night, I opened a new email account. I sent a message to Lila. We're doing this your way. I'm ready. I attached a scanned copy of Talia's pregnancy test. And I ended the message with 5 words I never thought I'd write. They've been sleeping together. Confirmed. They say there are moments in life when something inside you quietly breaks. No sound, no crash, just a silent, irreversible shift. That moment came for me the night I saw my husband kiss my sister's forehead in our backyard, gently like he did mine after doctor's visits or whenever I cried during pregnancy hormone storms. But this time, it wasn't meant for me. It was for her. And something in me went cold. The next morning, I was a different person, still pregnant, still in pain, still smiling, but now strategic. Talia avoided me the entire day. She claimed to be sick, stayed in her room, door closed, blinds drawn. I heard muffled sobs around noon, then silence. I didn't knock, I didn't ask. I wasn't there to comfort her anymore. I spent the afternoon gathering everything I had. I created a new folder in my notes app titled Fallout Plan. Inside it, I wrote dates they went out alone, text messages that sounded too casual, the pregnancy test, the time I overheard them laughing at night, the hoodie, the backyard kiss. Each bullet point made my hands shake. Then I added one final line. DNA test? I wasn't ready to face that yet, but it was sitting there, waiting. Jordan came home late that night, said he'd been caught in traffic, smelled like cologne and lemony soap, hair wet, like he'd showered at someone else's place. He kissed my forehead and went straight to the kitchen. Want anything? He asked. No, I replied. I'm good. When I woke up the next morning, Talia was gone. No note, no text, no sound. Just her room, half empty, some clothes gone, makeup drawer cleared, phone charger missing. I stood in the doorway, heart racing. Jordan walked up behind me. She said she needed space, he said softly. You talked to her? She texted me this morning, said she needed time to think. I turned slowly. Time to think about what? He hesitated. Her pregnancy, I guess. I told you. She's been off. I stared at him. He didn't blink. Later that evening, I found a missed call from Talia. She hadn't left a voicemail. I didn't call back. Instead, I opened my email and messaged Lila. She's gone. I need to know what they're hiding. The next day, Lila came over. I hadn't seen her in weeks. She brought her laptop, a stack of manila folders, and a look on her face that said she already knew more than I did. She hugged me tight. I can't believe they did this to you, she whispered. Let's prove it, I whispered back. We spent 3 hours reviewing phone records. Lila had pulled Jordan's billing info from an old shared business account they had access to. She was always better with tech than I was. What are we looking for? I asked. Call times, patterns, regular contacts. And there it was, a number saved under Client A. Frequent late-night calls, sometimes twice a night, sometimes for over an hour. We traced the number. It was Talia's. I didn't cry. I nodded slowly and whispered, "Thank you." Lila held my hand. "I think you need more than this," she said. "You need something undeniable." "I need the truth," I said. "All of it." That night, I stood in the mirror and stared at my reflection. 7.5 months pregnant, bags under my eyes, hair in a messy bun, a woman fighting two heartbreaks at once, her husband's and her sister's. And I still didn't know who the father of her child was. Was it Jordan? Or was I just spiraling into suspicion? I needed proof. The next morning, I drove to a local clinic alone. I asked for a consultation, not for myself, but about non-invasive prenatal DNA testing for paternity. The nurse asked a few questions, then gently explained what I'd need. Sample from the alleged father's sample from the mother Talia blood draw, or cheek swab, I thanked her. Left, sat in my car, cried, because there was no way Talia or Jordan would agree to that now. Not willingly. When I got home, Jordan was making lunch. Talia still hadn't returned. "You okay?" he asked. I nodded. "I know it's been a weird week," he added. "You can say that again." He turned toward me. "Look, I know you've been suspicious lately. You're tense, distant." I raised an eyebrow. "Suspicious of what?" He hesitated. "I don't know. Just of me, of everything. Maybe the hormones are messing with your head a bit." And just like that, he gaslit me, right to my face, like I was some fragile porcelain doll whose mind was melting under the weight of pregnancy. I smiled. "You might be right," I said. "Maybe I'm just imagining things." He smiled back, relieved. And I thought to myself, keep smiling, Amara, just a little longer. That night I got a message from an unknown number. "Can we talk? I need to explain. Please." I never meant for it to go this far. "Talia." I stared at the screen for a full minute, then replied, "Meet me tomorrow. Cafe Luna, 3 p.m. I showed up early, chose a booth in the back, heart pounding, hands shaking, fighting every part of myself that wanted to scream. She walked in wearing sunglasses, oversized hoodie, looking like she hadn't slept. She sat across from me and took off her glasses slowly. "Hi," she whispered. I didn't answer. She took a deep breath. "I'm not proud of what happened." "Then why did you do it?" "I was lonely, broken. After Eric left me, I lost myself." "That's not an excuse." "I know." "Did you sleep with Jordan?" Silence. Then, "Yes." I felt the room tilt. People kept sipping coffee, typing on laptops, like the world hadn't just shattered in my chest. "How long?" I asked. "About 2 months." "Are you in love with him?" "I don't know." "Is he in love with you?" She looked away. "I think so." I couldn't breathe. I couldn't see. Everything blurred, but I stayed calm because I needed the final answer. "Is the baby his?" She looked up at me, eyes red. "I think so." I nodded. That was it. That was everything. She reached out to touch my hand. I pulled away. "Don't," I said softly. "You lost that right." "Amara, I'll let you know what I decide, but you need to stay away from me, from my home, from this baby." "I'm sorry." I stood up. So was I. That night I didn't sleep. I lay on my back, staring at the ceiling. Not because of the betrayal, not because of the affair, not even because of the pregnancy, but because of what I was about to do next. I called a lawyer the next morning. Leela's cousin, a woman named Nia, who specialized in family law and discretion. I scheduled an appointment for the following Monday. And then, I began to pack a small bag, not because I was leaving, but because I needed him to wonder. You'd think the worst day of your life would come quietly. A late-night confession, a cold goodbye. A letter slipped under the door. But mine. Mine came in daylight, surrounded by pastel balloons, flower arches, and the people I loved most. The baby shower was held in our backyard, exactly how I'd imagined it. Cream and beige tones, dried pampas grass, acoustic covers playing softly through the speakers. Guests laughed. Polaroids snapped. Someone brought a hand-decorated diaper cake. Everything was perfect, on the surface, and I played the role well. I wore a flowing off-white dress with embroidered details that hugged my bump. My hair curled, lip gloss perfect, smile practiced. No one suspected anything, except Lila. She kept glancing at me from across the yard with that look. The one that said, "Are you ready for this?" I nodded once, because yes, I was ready. Talia arrived halfway through. She wore a pale blue jumpsuit and oversized sunglasses. Her makeup looked like she'd tried to cover up the damage of crying, but didn't quite succeed. She avoided my eyes. Jordan followed her 10 minutes later, dressed too sharp for the occasion. Blue button-down, hair slicked, holding a box of cupcakes. I greeted both of them with hugs. The kind of hugs you give people when you're about to set their world on fire. Everything was timed. First, I let the party build. Games, baby name suggestions, sweet speeches, photos. Then as people sipped from tiny mason jars and passed around advice cards, I cleared my throat. "I just want to say a quick thank you," I began, smiling sweetly. All eyes turned to me. "To my friends, my family, and to the two people who helped put this together." I gestured toward Jordan and Talia. Gasps, smiles, applause. Jordan leaned down to kiss my cheek. Talia smiled stiffly. I kept going. "It's hard planning something like this while pregnant," I said. "But thankfully I had help. Someone who took care of the details, made phone calls, held my hand." The room was still. "And someone else who held my hand too?" A few people chuckled softly. I smiled wider. Under the table, at dinner, while I sat across from them, 7 months pregnant. Silence. Talia's smile vanished. Jordan's arms stiffened around me. Lila's face turned to stone. I continued. "Yes, you heard that right. My husband and my sister have been having an affair. For months." Gasps, hands over mouths. One person whispered, "Jesus." They lied to my face. Planned my baby shower while planning their secret. They thought I wouldn't notice. Talia stood. "Amara, sit," I said. She froze. I turned to the crowd. "I'm not telling you this for pity. I'm telling you because secrets fester in silence. And I'm done being silent." I took a breath. "Also, in case anyone's wondering, yes, she's pregnant. And until recently, we all assumed Jordan was the father." Jordan turned pale. "But good news," I paused. "He's not." Gasps again. I wasn't bluffing. Lila had helped me get the DNA results the day before. Talia's doctor had mistakenly sent the confirmation to her shared email account, thinking it was for joint parental access. The father wasn't Jordan, and suddenly this affair, this perfect little disaster, wasn't just betrayal, it was pathetic. Jordan looked like the floor had dropped out from under him. Talia covered her mouth. Someone muttered, "Oh my God," and walked away. I turned back to them. "You could have had a conversation. You could have been honest. Instead, you gave me lies wrapped in family dinners and baby gifts." Neither of them spoke. "I'm keeping the house, the baby, my name. You two, you can have each other if you still want to." Jordan opened his mouth. "Don't," I said, holding up a hand. "You've done enough." I turned to the crowd. "I'll understand if anyone wants to leave, but I also understand if you stay. Because this isn't just a baby shower. It's a goodbye party." Someone clapped. Then another. And another. Lila walked up beside me and placed a hand on my back. I stepped down from the small garden platform we'd used as a stage and walked inside the house. Slowly, like I had all the time in the world. Because for the first time in weeks, I finally did. Later, I watched from the upstairs window as guests began to leave. Some hugged Talia awkwardly. Others ignored her entirely. Jordan stood alone for a while, then left without saying goodbye. I never saw him cry, but I hope he did. Talia tried knocking on my door that night. I didn't answer. She sent a text the next morning. I didn't know how to stop. I never meant for it to happen. I still love you, Amara. I read it once and deleted it. Because here's the thing. Love doesn't live in secrets. It doesn't grow under tables. And it sure as hell doesn't share a bed with your sister. The baby kicked that night. Hard. Like she felt the shift too. And I whispered softly, "Don't worry, baby. Mommy just cleaned house." It's funny how people show their true faces when the dust settles. Some pretend nothing happened. Some avoid eye contact. Some lean in, hungry for the drama. But only a few, the real ones, stay close when the room empties and the silence is heavy. Lila stayed. Jordan didn't. The morning after the baby shower, I woke up to quiet. No messages from Jordan. No knock at the door from Talia. No apology flowers. No desperate calls. Just quiet. And for the first time in weeks, I liked the quiet. Lila made pancakes. I didn't eat much, but I appreciated the gesture. She didn't say anything for the first half hour, just sat there sipping coffee, letting me exist without performing. "You okay?" she finally asked. "No," I said, "but I will be." That was enough. By noon, the call started. My aunt, my cousin, two of Jordan's co-workers, even Talia's ex, Eric, of all people, left a voicemail saying he always knew something was off. Apparently, word had spread. Fast. I shouldn't have been surprised. Some of the shower guests posted photos before things went south. A few even captioned the event with thinly veiled references. And then, one of them posted the speech. Not the whole thing. Just the moment I said, "My husband and my sister have been having an affair." It went viral within the hour. Some anonymous account reposted it on TikTok with dramatic background music. By sunset, it had over 600,000 views. Lila read me a few of the comments. "She's so calm. I'd have flipped the table. This is savage. She's a queen. Plot twist. The baby isn't even his? Drop her skincare routine and her lawyer's number." I didn't respond. It wasn't funny to me. Not yet. But deep down, part of me felt seen. Jordan texted late that night. "Can we talk?" I didn't answer. He texted again the next morning. "Please. At just 5 minutes. Again, nothing. By noon, he was on the doorstep. I let him knock. 3 times. Then I opened the door and stared at him through the screen. He looked wrecked, eyes bloodshot, shirt wrinkled, hair uncombed. "Amara," he said softly. "Please." I didn't open the door. "I messed up," he continued. "I didn't mean for any of this to happen." "You don't get to control the narrative anymore," I said. "You already wrote your part." "I thought the baby was mine," he blurted. "I was confused. She said—" "Save it," I said. He stepped closer. "But it wasn't just about that. I was lost. You were always focused on the pregnancy, the house, the planning." "So I deserve to be cheated on?" I asked flatly. "No! God, no, You just didn't want to be invisible," I said. "So you made me disappear instead." He looked like I slapped him. Good. I didn't let him in. Instead, I handed him a sealed envelope. Inside, a legal letter from my lawyer. Separation notice, property agreement, custody acknowledgement. He stared at it like it burned his fingers. "You already—" "I'm not the one who was lost, Jordan. You were, and now you can go find yourself somewhere else." He didn't call again. Talia tried once more a few days later. Another text. "I understand if you never forgive me, but please know I didn't want to hurt you." I blocked the number. The baby moved more now, almost like she sensed the house had changed. The energy lighter, the air clearer. I began rebuilding in small ways. I moved into the guest room, not because I had to, but because I wanted to rearrange what home looked like. I removed the wedding photos, boxed up the ones with Talia, repainted one of the accent walls a soft clay tone. It felt like reclaiming space that had been stolen from me. The lawyer, Nia, was incredibly efficient. She told me that since Jordan admitted to infidelity, I had the right to file for at-fault divorce in our state. That meant stronger claim to the house, immediate custody rights. And depending on how it played out, spousal support, I didn't want revenge. but I did want freedom and peace. One night, about 2 weeks after the baby shower, I found myself scrolling TikTok and stumbled across another clip. Someone had animated my story, a faceless version of me, voiceover narration, dramatic music. The caption read, "She caught her husband and her sister. What she did next shocked everyone." Normally, I'd hate something like that. But this time, I let it play because I wanted to see how the world viewed me now. And you know what? They didn't see a victim. They saw someone who chose herself. That was the turning point. Not the speech, not the legal letter, not the blocked messages. It was seeing that people, strangers, saw strength in my silence. My mother called the next day. She'd been quiet for a while, processing. "I don't know what to say," she said. "You don't have to say anything," I replied. "Just be here. I'm sorry about your sister. She made her choices. I raised you both the same," she whispered. I almost told her that wasn't true, but I let it go. "I'm okay, Mom." "You don't sound okay." "I'm better than I was, and I'm getting better every day." That afternoon, I made a playlist called Peaceful Baby, soft jazz, lullabies, a few songs that reminded me of simpler times. I played it while folding onesies and organizing diapers. Lila walked in and paused. "You really kept it all together, huh?" "No," I said. "I broke. Quietly. Then I built something stronger." She smiled. Then she said something that stuck with me. "You didn't just survive this. You outgrew it." I journaled again that night. Thursday, 9:47 p.m. Talia hasn't contacted me in days. Jordan is gone. The silence is mine now. And so is the peace. I didn't know exactly what came next. I didn't have a new love story or a perfect plan, but I had a name picked out and a nursery that smelled like lavender and the kind of strength no one can fake. The fallout didn't destroy me. It cleared the wreckage so I could rebuild. There's a strange kind of silence after you expose the truth. Not the awkward kind, the clean kind, the kind that makes room for something new. And for the first time in months, I could finally hear myself think. Talia had gone quiet. After the baby shower, I blocked her number and removed her from every contact list, shared calendar and folder we'd once used to plan the baby's arrival. No apologies, no explanations. Just silence, and it suited me. Jordan tried once more. He sent a single email through his lawyer, said he wanted to start a healing conversation. I responded through mine. No conversations necessary, just signatures. The truth is, I didn't need revenge. I just wanted distance. But the world had other plans. About a week after the baby shower, a podcast episode dropped. Not mine, someone else's. A relationship drama channel had picked up the TikTok clip of my confrontation, the viral one, and covered it in their Unreal Betrayal segment. They didn't name me, but they described everything. The husband, the sister, the baby shower, the pregnancy twist. It exploded overnight. Suddenly, people everywhere were calling it the table betrayal. Hashtags started trending. I got messages from strangers, women mostly, saying things like, "You spoke for all of us. I was cheated on while pregnant too. Thank you for not staying silent." I hadn't planned to speak again, but something changed when I realized how many women saw themselves in my story. This wasn't just about Jordan or Talia anymore. It was about me reclaiming the narrative. So I decided to speak once, in my words, on my terms. Lila helped me film it. We didn't show my face, just soft visuals, hands cradling a pregnant belly, sunlight pouring through curtains, a swing swaying in the wind. The voiceover was mine, steady, calm, unapologetic. I was 7 months pregnant when I found out the two people I trusted most were lying to me, my husband and my sister. Some people said I should have screamed, thrown things, exposed them on social media. I didn't. I simply told the truth, calmly and clearly, because sometimes the loudest thing you can do is not raise your voice. It's walking away without looking back. The video was 3 minutes long. We uploaded it to a small channel Lila helped me create. No tags, no promo, just quiet release. It crossed 100,000 views in 2 days, then 500,000, then It hit 1 million. I received an email from a publisher, then a podcast invite, then a request to turn the story into a short film. I didn't say yes to any of them. Not yet. But it felt like the universe was handing me back the mic, and I held it carefully. Meanwhile, Jordan's name started circulating in Facebook, mom groups, and Reddit threads. Talia's social media vanished, and the mutual friends who once called us the perfect couple, they disappeared too. One afternoon, I got a handwritten letter in the mail. No return address. I opened it slowly. It was from Talia. The handwriting was rushed, nervous, familiar. I know you'll never forgive me, and I don't expect you to. I don't even know if I forgive myself. I thought what I needed was love. What I needed was help. I'm going to therapy, and I'm keeping the baby. I don't expect you to care, but I wanted you to know. I still remember the way we used to laugh at night as kids, in the dark, trying not to wake mom. I ruined that, and I'm sorry, always T. I folded the letter, placed it in a drawer, didn't cry, didn't text back, just sat with it. Because sometimes closure isn't a conversation, it's a choice. As the weeks passed, I focused on my baby. I built a little nook near the window, a rocking chair, some soft blankets, a shelf with a diffuser, and lullaby books. I spoke to her often, not about what happened, but about what would be. You are not born into betrayal, you are born into resilience. My mom came over one evening to help sort newborn clothes. She hadn't asked about Talia since the baby shower. That night, she finally did. I'm still her mother, she said softly, but I won't defend her. I nodded. You don't have to choose between us, I told her. I already did, she replied. I chose the daughter who didn't lie. It was the first time I saw her cry, and I let her, because sometimes healing is shared. By now, my due date was a few weeks away. I walked slower, slept in short stretches, nested like my life depended on it, and in many ways, it did. Because this wasn't just a birth, it was a rebirth. For her, for me. One night, I sat on the edge of the bed and reread the message I once sent Lila. They've been sleeping together, confirmed. I remembered how empty I felt sending it, how lost. Now I felt whole, still healing, still tired, but whole. I added a new note to my journal. You didn't need revenge to win, you just needed your voice, and you used it. They say grief doesn't end, it just changes shape. So does betrayal. You don't get over it, you walk with it, until it walks a little behind you, then beside you, then someday, far behind you. I think I finally reached that last part. The morning I went into labor, the sky was pink. It sounds made up, I know, but it really was. Soft, blushing, like the world had hit reset. I remember standing by the window barefoot, holding a mug of warm lemon water, when I felt the first pull low in my belly. Not sharp, not scary, just certain. A beginning. My bag had been packed for weeks. Lila was already on standby. The hospital knew to expect me. I didn't call Jordan. I didn't text Talia. This wasn't their story anymore. It was mine. The birth was long, emotional, and so beautifully ordinary. No perfect playlist, no dreamlike movie moment, just quiet pain, deep breathing, and the soft hum of nurses doing their jobs like angels with clipboards. And when they placed her on my chest, all the noise stopped. Everything else, the betrayal, the shame, the headlines, the hidden hands under the table, just evaporated. She was everything. We named her Ariel Hope, a name that felt like light. She had my eyes, my lips, a soft patch of black hair, and the tiniest fists you've ever seen, clenched like she already understood the strength she'd need in this world. And when she looked up at me that first time, I felt something click into place. Not broken, just changed. The early days were quiet, almost sacred. My world became diaper changes and midnight feedings, lullabies I didn't know I remembered, and naps stolen in sun-drenched moments with her resting on my chest. I didn't post pictures. I didn't make announcements. I just existed with her, fully and completely. Because for once, I didn't need the world to know I was okay. I was okay. People still talked about the baby shower. The video still floated around. The calmest public takedown ever. Under the table, I would have flipped the whole dinner set. Honestly, I'm living for her glow-up. I didn't correct them. I didn't comment. Sometimes I watched it, not out of vanity, but reminder, that I had once stood in a room full of people and said, no more, and meant it. Jordan didn't reach out after signing the papers. No, I miss you. No, how's the baby? Talia never tried again either. It was like they disappeared into the same silence they used to betray me. Except now that silence belonged to me, and it was peaceful. Lila came over every Thursday. She helped wash bottles, folded baby clothes, brought groceries, and reminded me to eat something that wasn't toast. One night while we folded laundry, she said, "You know what I realized? You didn't just survive them. You outgrew them." And for the first time, I didn't flinch at the word them. It didn't feel like my wound anymore. It felt like my past. 3 months after Ariel was born, I recorded my first podcast episode. Not about betrayal, about becoming someone new after your old life ends unexpectedly, about how women are expected to either break down or bounce back, but not slowly heal. I titled it, Not Broken, How I Survived the Affair I Never Saw Coming. It was honest, quiet, raw, the kind of honesty you whisper, not shout. I said in the episode, I used to think strength meant staying. Then I thought strength meant walking away. But now I think strength is waking up, feeding your baby, brushing your teeth, and not apologizing for healing slower than people expect. It hit home. I woke up to emails, comments, and DMs from women all over the world. Some cried while listening on their lunch breaks. Some wrote me from NICU rooms. Some had just left the person who broke them. But all of them said, "Thank you for telling your story. It felt like mine." And I always wrote back, "That's because we survived the same silence." One day while rocking Ariel to sleep, I found a letter I wrote myself a year before, buried in a drawer behind old bills. It said, "You are not too sensitive. You are not overreacting. You are not imagining it. You see what you see, and one day you'll be strong enough to walk away from it." I cried, because I did. So am I healed. Not all the way. Some nights still sting. Some memories still surprise me with grief. But every time I watch Ariel smile in her sleep, or reach for my face with her tiny hand, or curl against me with her soft breath, I know I didn't lose. I didn't fail. I didn't break. I became someone new. Not because of what they did, but in spite of it. And maybe that's the truest kind of victory. So now I turn to you, wherever you're watching from. Whether you're in a big city or a small town, whether you're holding a baby or holding back tears, whether you stayed, left, forgave, or still don't know what to do, I want to ask you, have you ever experienced betrayal from someone you never expected? Did you stay quiet or speak your truth? What would you have done at that table? Drop your story in the comments. I read everyone because healing starts with being heard. And if this story touched you, even for a moment, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, so more people can feel a little less alone in their own version of this story. I was 7 months pregnant when my world cracked open, but I didn't fall apart. I stepped through the silence and built something stronger. Thanks for watching. My name is Amara, and this is me. Not broken, just becoming.